Hi everyone, thank you for clicking on today's video. We are going to be doing 3 looks with the Colourpop Wild Nothing palette. I'll show you the palette. Alright, here's the palette. It is absolutely gorgeous and very desert themed, and I'm going to be doing 3 looks with it. Alright, stay tuned, keep watching. Let's get into the first look. So we're starting with the shade Crystal Cove. It's basically the same exact color of my skin tone. I'm just laying that down all over the eyes just to get a smooth base for the rest of the eyeshadow to apply over. This is not adding any pigment to the shadow whatsoever. Then we're going in with the shade Top Down. It's this really nice peachy color. It's just a little bit darker than my skin tone, and I'm just picking that up very lightly on a very fluffy blending brush just to get a light wash of color, just something a little bit darker than the first shade, but this is also really just to help blend the rest of the eyeshadows on top of. We're going to repeat that on the other eye because you got to do both eyes. And this is just to start the eye getting into the color and add a nice blendable surface for the rest of the shadows to blend into, not just on top of. And then I'm going in again with just another very light dip because we want to build that up very slowly and very lightly. And then same thing on the other eye, just a wash all over the entire eyelid, trying to keep it in and above the crease, but also it can go everywhere. And this is how it's looking with just that one color. And then we're going in with the shade Vagabond. And this one is also going in the crease. We're not really going to bring this shade above the crease though. This one is to add some more of that depth of color and emphasize the crease in the outer corner of the eye, bringing in more of that brown into the look so it's not so peachy orange and bringing that nice shadow into it. And then same thing on the other eye. We're keeping this a lot lower in the crease, so we're having a little bit more control over the brush, and then really trying to almost hollow out that crease of the eye if you saw me shoving it into my crease, and then just taking the brush with no additional product on it and going over everything. Now we're taking the shade Morningside. This is a gorgeous orangey peachy color, and we're taking this on a much smaller, denser brush and really packing that on the outer half of the eye, the outer corner, if you will, and then into the crease and sweeping the excess product through the crease to deepen that. And I really like this brush because it kind of has that pointed tip where you can really lay the product down and then turn the brush sideways like I'm doing right there and just sweep everything across really nicely. And this is just going dusted in the crease, but really only on the outer half, and that is how we are looking after that. This is me trying to decide if I was going to do a coral lid or a green lid, and then me getting the idea, getting very excited, and doing an entire coral look. So I'm just packing the shade Alcove. This is a very pinky coral color all over the lid with my finger because that is how I like to apply shimmers. I think that they apply the best that way, especially Colourpop shimmers. And we're really just packing this on the entire lid from inner corner to outer edge, really trying to get into that inner corner as well, and then using my finger just to sort of blend it up to make sure it's covering the entire lid. Do it on the other eye, and then with a small flat brush I'm taking a mix of the shades Vagabond and Morningside and just putting that on the lower lash line to really emphasize that, bring both lines together. And then I wasn't getting as much of a blend as I wanted with that brush, so I grabbed a fluffier brush and I used that to blend out those two colors on the bottom lash line. Then for our inner corner and brow bone highlight, we're taking this shade Coastline. It's a very nude pinky shimmer color. And we're putting that underneath the brows, right on the brow bone for a pop. And then we're going to put on the inner corner. I love a bright inner corner, like excessive inner corner. Like I like to bring it up onto the sides of my nose. I don't know why. I just think that it's really pretty like that, especially this color. Don't come at me. This is how I like to do my inner corners. This is honestly less than I probably wanted. But we're just doing that just to bring it together. And then once everything is on, taking that initial blending brush with no additional product on it and just making sure everything is blended together so that there's no harsh lines and everything is kind of a seamless flow. And this is how the eyeshadow looks. And then I'm going to go do the rest of my makeup. Here we are. Here's the finished look. It's very pink, coral, shimmery, summery. And I'm going to bring you in even closer so that way you can really see all the blend of the eyeshadow and how beautiful this eye look is. And now let's get into the second look. And this is what I am kind of calling our flirty, girly look. We're starting with the shade Come Together. It's sort of a brown, but more of like a mauve-y tone to it, so it has that pink in it. And we're just blending that as our transition shade all throughout the crease, above the crease, in the crease. Not really on the lid. We're trying to keep it off of the lid, but we're blending it everywhere else, really trying to put that sort of pink lay down there. And then of course do it on the other eye. Here's proof. And this is how it's looking with just that one shade in the crease. And then we are going to take the shade Hot Springs. Now this is really the pink color that's going to give us that depth of pink. On a smaller blending brush, I'm just focusing that really in the crease. It's okay if it goes a little bit above the crease, but really that pink is what we want to carve out our crease with. And it's okay if that drops down a little bit to the lid too, because we just want to get that pink color all over the eye where we can. This shade does have some shimmer in it, but I'm taking it on a fluffy brush and like tapping off the excess, so all of the shimmer really is gone by the time that it's going onto my eye. And this is how it looks with those two shades on there. Everything is nice and blended. Then with a clean brush, nothing on it, just blending those two shades together. And then the star of the show, we're going to take the shade Sultan. This is a Super Shock shadow, and if you've never used a Super Shock shadow from Colourpop, they are absolutely stunning. They reflect light so beautifully depending on where you're looking. It's not going to be like a wash of pigment shimmer all over the lid. It's really going to specifically reflect light, and because of that, I'm not just putting this on the lid, I'm packing it on the lid. But as you'll see right here, I really am kind of dusting that with my finger over the entire lid to brow bone area. And this is how it's looking. And when I turn, you can see the reflection so beautifully. And then we're going to take that shade Come Together again. That's the mauve brownie pink color. And we're just going to buff that on the lower lash line to get some of that pigment down there as well and bring the whole eye together. And then, whoo! We're gonna try a wing. This is me literally hyping myself up to do this wing liner because I'm so scared, like I said right there. So this first eye, I was so proud of myself. Look at that. Okay, all right, and now we just have to match the line on the other side. And this is not working out the way that I wanted to. And spoiler alert, it's not going to work out the way I wanted it to, and I'm going to show you how to fix it. I said frick, not. But then I'm just doing my left wing because that one is easier for me. I don't know if it's because I'm right-handed, so I'm holding the pen in my right hand. So it's just easier for me to pull it across that way than it is to do my right eye, but I always struggle with my right eye. Also, this Maybelline Master Precise eyeliner is phenomenal. It's great, it's pigmented, it's long-lasting, yeah, and this is me realizing that it's unsalvageable. I'm trying to save it, but I'm not going to save it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of makeup remover. This is a Q-tip, dip it in, and then I'm just going to kind of pat over that little wing that I want to fix, and then rub it a little bit, and then I'm going to flip the Q-tip around and dry that area once everything that I wanted to take off is completely off. So see me do that right here, just so that way when I go in and reapply the liquid liner, I'm not applying it on top of makeup remover. I'm applying it onto dry skin. And then I am so sorry, I really couldn't try and stay in frame. I needed to focus on redrawing this wing and trying to make it match the other one. And that was a lot better. It's not perfect, but that's as good as it's gonna get. Which is what I said right there. And then this is how it looks up close with the wing on and all of the shadow together. I think it looks super girly, flirty, and stunning, and this is with the rest of the makeup done. I mean, just look at that Super Shock shadow. Absolutely stunning. All right, now let's get on to the third look. And this is what I'm kind of calling our garden woodsy inspired look, as you'll see. So I'm starting with that shade Vagabond. That is more of the like neutral brown light transition shade. And I'm just putting that all over the crease, blending that pretty much just all everywhere. Not trying to be careful with this. This is just our starting transition shade, because then we're going to take this really dark brown No Bounds on that same fluffy brush, and you'll see I moved my hand down the barrel of the brush because I am barely touching my eye while I'm blending this. Just the little tips of the brush are touching my eye on this first blend because I don't want a giant patch of a dark brown. I'm really trying to blend this in the crease, and so when you're dealing with a dark color like this, you need to start so light that maybe you can't even tell it's there, and then build up that brown color. And then I'm going to take that same dark brown on a smaller but still kind of fluffy brush, and then you'll see I messed up and put a little bit too much on, but I'm really trying to pack that on like the outer V, the outer third of the eye. Get that close to the lash line and then meet it in the corner of the crease and then bring that up into the crease. And blending with this smaller fluffy brush is going to give us a blend, but also give us a lot more control over the color. And I'm not using anything super fluffy because I do want to have that sort of precision placement of where I want it to go using the tip of that brush. And I left all of this in because I really wanted you to see how long I spent blending this eyeshadow. And I actually think I went in a second time and like kept blending, but I did cut that part out and then I dropped it. But I am taking my time blending this shadow. It's going to take a while when you're blending out a dark shade. And then that first brush, make sure everything is nice and blended together like I always do. And then the star of the show, we're taking this green shade called Seashells, and we're packing that on the lid. I like to use my finger for shimmers on the lid because it just keeps everything nice and together, and I think you get the best color payoff and shimmer payoff that way. But this is just going all over the entire lid. We're not bringing this up and above like we did with the Sultan shade in the last look. Just pack on the lid and then going back in with that flat fluffy brush and just emphasizing that brown on the outer V of the eye. That's how it looks. And then to highlight the eyes, I didn't want a super shimmery highlight because I didn't want to take anything away from the shimmer we have on the lid. So I'm taking the shade Crystal Cove, which is matte with a little bit of shimmer in it. So we're just brightening the area, stabbing ourselves in the eye, and just lightly highlighting it. And then we're gonna take that shade No Bounds, the really dark shade, on a flat brush, and we're just gonna deposit that on the lower lash line, really tight to the lash line, and I'm bringing that all the way into the inner corner. Then I'm taking this small fluffy brush. There is nothing on this brush, and I am just blending out that dark brown shade as itself, just to keep that brown line on the under eye, and this is how it looks all done with the rest of my makeup complete. I think it's giving garden, it's giving woodsy. I think it is so stunning. And this lighting wasn't giving what it needed to give. It looking a little too bright, and so this is what it looks like when I stepped back from the window, and I hope you like it and try one of these looks from the Colourpop Wild Nothing palette. Alright, thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, bye!